How's everybody doing today? Welcome to Solution Seekers. I'm Kelly. I'm going to get right to the point. I'm so disappointed with America, but as well, I'm also equally as impressed with so many parts of America. Let me start by saying my disappointment. My disappointment comes at a stands to whereas, man, some people just don't really get what everything that we've been through since March. People are still fighting online. People are hurting. I'm only assuming that's why they're making just having some petty, very serious arguments with people they've known for years or their whole lives. And as a result, those relationships, friendships are ruined based off social media. But what is social media? It's a platform that's a digital world that doesn't even exist. It's a fake world. But yet, so many people have given it so much validation to where, as opposed, it just runs everything. And there's just so much political positioning that it's sickening. Man, and you, Candice Owens, you ought to be ashamed of yourself for trying to knock down George Floyd, trying to paint him as a hero. I'm sure that he didn't, when he woke up that morning, he didn't think that he was going to be a hero. And it was alleged that he tried to pass a counterfeit bill. Okay, but if you want to look at that, what about all those people? What about all those banks on Wall Street are continually stealing money from people? And to the point where they're even in Congress trying to defend their positions. And yet, it's the same old story. None of us, I don't think that most people try to go out their way to be heroes. I think most people are just trying to live their lives. And that's all that anybody can ask for. But to sit there and I watch this interview and, of course, 45 backed her up. But it's to the point to where it was just heart wrenching. I've been trying to give this woman the benefit of the doubt for years, for at least for the last couple of years since she's popped up. And you know what? It's just a sad case to where she just tore this man down. And it's just like, for what? You're looking at somebody's past. His life was taken. He had no intentions on giving his life up for a cause that he knew nothing about. He was a victim of excuse me, police brutality. And unless you've never been a victim of that, you really have no idea of what that's really like. And I don't think that her or people of her ilk know anything about that. They may have been stopped, but do you know what it's like to actually be hogtied and beat almost to death and having guns put to your head and have the cops say, do you want to die today? But if you can't identify with that, I can't say that you don't have a place to speak because everybody's entitled to their opinion. But come on, quit beating people down. Even more so, I think it's more crucial that we try to build people up to the best of our ability, no matter where they're at. I don't care if they're homeless. I don't care if they're politicians. I have problems with 45. But I'm not going to voice them in that way that she has, and man, where's the human spirit at? All I've been hearing is seeing is just the human condition that can never be fully satisfied. It's never going to be pleased. There's always going to be something that's not being taken care of. It's just want, 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 want. Never giving anything other than some two-bit advice or opinions or attitudes. And I don't think that we really need this with. Let's go back to March. COVID, people dying, right? Economic downturn, loss of jobs that may or may not be coming back. States trying to open up. Now we have we have the protests slash riots. The, everything is what it is, and it's just like I love saying it's never what happens, but it's to how we respond to it that ultimately matters. We're in election year, so is this going to even tear everybody up even more so? Because I'm just looking at clips, and that what I'm seeing, it doesn't look too hopeful for us. But we can turn that around. And let me talk about what I'm impressed by. What I'm really impressed by is seeing people from all different walks of life coming together for a common cause. And I know that everybody's reasons is different, but you know what? For the fact of the matter is, some American citizens of all ilks came together for a purpose. Can we continue this? I thought all this was going to happen before when the COVID first started, but we became more distanced from one another than even before. And like to think that the events of the last few weeks has kind of got us on some common ground. But yeah, but once again, everything becomes politicized, and I think these two majority groups are going to once again continue to divide and conquer us until they get what they want. It's for me, it's a sad case. I mean, you're dealing with somebody who hasn't always had this wholesome image that some people have of me. I spent a lot of time in prison. I've done a lot of things which I'm regretting for, and you know what? I'm working my best in my life on a constant basis to make that up. I don't think will ever be able to live a lot of that stuff down, but it's been happening. When I was listening to stuff about what Candice Owens had to say about George Floyd, I had to be reminded that, man, it felt like she was talking to me. If something happened to me, she's just going to tear me down for all the mistakes that I've made. Are the mistakes that I made the sum total of everything I've done in my life? I don't think so. But it depends on if you're talking with somebody who has a really small opinion of people who don't think like they do. My whole goal is that I don't like the name calling. I don't like this. I don't. In the black community, there's a thing for people like that, but I'm not getting into that because it's neither here nor there. That messes up my spirit to start calling people names because I like to think that I'm bigger than that. I like to think that I can articulate more than just calling her a name, even though it does feel good for the moment, but it does something to my spirit. Um, but what I will say this is that when I see things like that, I'm always baffled or I'm always curious as to why people have these certain opinions, thoughts, or beliefs. And at the end of the day, I'll never get to it. Is it the money that's motivating you? Is it the fame that's getting motivating you? Is it the input that you can get from people who have the same mindset as you? Is it, or do you just want to make it seem like you're just beating some people down in order for you to build your support from people who have the same mindset? That's just my belief. But I like to think more. Try to keep optimistic when I look at people, because if I don't, how can I do that? Apply that once again to myself. I will thank God when all this is done. I can shave this beard off, this COVID beard, but it's here to stay until everything gets solved. But the fact of the matter is it's here. So there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of, man, where are we going? Where are we moving? There was more protests today. I'm seeing a lot of police brutality coming up, and a lot of events that transpired over the last 2 weeks. A lot of little small things are coming out, and it's going to be what it is, and it's never what happens, but how do we look about it? Where's the solution at? Because at the end of the day, it's never about the problem. It's all about the solution. The problems are not going to go away, but the problems, in order for a problem to go away, it's predicated on having some type of solution that works for the moment. For all of us, no matter what the problem may be. I'm the first person who tries to bring hope alive or try to spread hope to others. But, some people are just not willing to accept it because, once again, to make change, or maybe to affect change, or to enlarge and embolden change takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of sacrifices. And if you don't, in my opinion, that true change happens is when I can make a sacrifice and the things don't hurt. It's not really a sacrifice. That's just an inconvenience. And this is what I've been doing for almost August will be 8 years. And you know what? I'm gonna stick to that. I'm just gonna stick to it. And I just try to want to remain hopeful for everybody. And for me, I feel like I'm very fortunate to not be in my former situation. But there are times, man, let me tell you, there are times I would just rather prefer to go back to prison and just say the hell with all this shit, because this shit is not, at least in there I knew what I was dealing with. Out here I just don't. But I made a promise to myself some years ago that I will do all that I can do within my power to try to avoid that anybody has to take the steps that I've taken in my life and hopefully apply it to themselves. Why did I say that? I have no idea. But you know what? It seemed to be the best thing at that given point in time. And then once I commit myself to something, I stick with it. Why commit myself to something? I'm not the type of person who has to be told, you need to motivate yourself. If it's something that you said, I mean it, and I tried, my actions actually match my words. I don't have to be convinced to do something that I want to do. I just go ahead and do it. My timeline, sometimes it's a little offset, but at the end of the day, I'm still trying to get things done to the best of my ability. I don't want to take up too much time tonight, but I just want to come in and chime in on those few things. And that, America, I hope that we can just wake up and try to the best of our ability to get along. To first and foremost, can I look at somebody else's position or situation before I could start talking about it? Because if I start talking about it, I'm not really trying to see things from a different perspective. I do this in most aspects of my life. And that's one of the reasons if I disagree with somebody, I always try to change, reverse positions and try to see it from their way. In the process of doing that, it's a great opportunity to learn so many things about somebody else, what they're advocating, as well what I'm advocating. And sometimes my position is better, sometimes theirs is better, but it's part of the growing process. And I don't think that growth is contingent upon being around people who all think the same. I think true, pure growth comes around from being bombarded with different concepts from different walks of life, and then I can try to if they sound reasonable to me, I'm gonna try to live them because that's what I do with everything. I don't try to do anything; I just live it. And you know what? Trying to do it is just like half measures. Why try when I can do it? When I can live it, and that works for me. I hope everybody has a great weekend. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning now, but stay safe, and I hope this everybody has the what's left of the weekend a great one. Please like, share, and subscribe. It'll help me out greatly. Thank you, and have a great weekend.